Severe weather for the northern Rockies and eastern Rockies, and that includes damaging winds and large hail. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew. Today is September 11th, 2025. So today the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk or 2 out of 5 from western Montana to eastern North Dakota, and also a broad marginal risk throughout the Rockies. And within that slight risk, we have a 15% chance to see damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and also a 15% chance to see large hail up to 2 inches in diameter. Also want to point out that the flash flood risk in Oregon and Idaho still persists today, but that also includes the northern Rockies and also Colorado and New Mexico, and again for South Florida. Okay, so time frames on when this is all going to happen, starting with the northern Rockies and places like Montana and North Dakota. You guys may be already seeing some showers this morning, but it looks like intensification of isolated cells are going to start around 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And a similar thing can be said for the rest of the West, where you guys are going to be seeing isolated cells also around 2 p.m. Mountain Time, but the severity of these storms will be less. Specifically in places like Oregon and Idaho and Colorado and New Mexico, I would expect more heavier precipitation. Isolated places could see an inch or greater in terms of rainfall. And for Florida, it's the same exact thing that's been going on for the last few days, where you guys are going to be seeing lots of intense, heavier rain this morning, afternoon, and pretty much throughout the evening, but less so during the night. And you guys are going to see isolated 1 to 4 inches of rainfall. And for Florida, it's because you guys have a low pressure that's been recycling that tropical moisture, but also you guys have a stationary front that's producing consistent surface lift to produce those storms. Now, for everywhere else, we have to look at 500 millibars or midway through the troposphere, and we still have that really broad low pressure trough that's in the west. And contained in the base of the trough and throughout the northern and eastern Rockies, we have that plume of mid-level moisture. But also in addition to that, behind it, we have a dry socket headed into Utah. And if we take a look at satellite imagery in this area, we have pretty clear skies, which is going to help with more surface heating. And because this area is going to get pretty hot and hot air rises, we're going to have a lot of buoyancy. And because this dry socket's headed into an area with really high wind shear, that's going to help with the mixing of the boundary layers between the low levels and the mid levels. So with that dry air, it's going to make the relative humidities at the surface around 15 to 20% and wind speeds up to 15 to 25 miles per hour. And so speaking of shear, in places like Montana and North Dakota, we have pockets of really good shear, which are going to help tilt those updrafts and prolong the storms, but we also have pockets of vorticity that's going to help with the spin and help with the upward motion as well. And with this trough in the west being mostly stationary, it's helping broadening the ridge that's developing in the central part of the US, which is going to contribute to that heat wave that we're going to see. And with these two upper level features at the surface, it's going to start developing a low pressure in the northern Rockies and a high pressure in the plains. And with low pressures being counterclockwise flow and high pressures being clockwise flow, it's going to contribute to bringing all that southerly winds from the tropics all the way north. And with that, we're going to see temperatures into the 90s and dew points into the 60s. But also in addition to that, if we go a little bit above the surface at 850 millibars, we do have a strong low level jet. It's bringing in a lot of moisture into the northern Rockies as well. And that's why we're going to see